Today is Wednesday, the 16th of December. From today onwards, London has been moved into Tier 3 lockdown. Tier 3 basically means very high alert. Let's talk. Namaste to all of you all. Welcome back to my channel Soul Sauce. If you're new here, I'm Anvi, and on this channel I make videos on politics, philosophy and poetry. Opinionage is my segment where I talk about the current political updates and political analysis. Let's begin today's episode with a couple of updates on the COVID-19 pandemic. As mentioned before, from today onwards, London has been moved into the Tier 3 lockdown, which is a very high alert lockdown. A new strain of the COVID-19 has been found in almost over 1,000 people in England. They are saying that this could be the main reason why there has been a sudden increase in the number of cases in the southeast especially. They're also saying that these kind of mutations are common and have already been found in many other countries as well. 2 days ago, Bill Gates gave an interview to Business Insider, and if you watch the interview, it sounds pretty scary and fearful. He has said that the next 4 to 6 months could be the worst period of the pandemic that we have seen so far. He says that this could be because of the winter and there could be a huge surge in the number of cases and infections. Coming to the latest updates about the vaccinations, 137,000 people in the UK have now been vaccinated in the first week of the vaccination program. Now this also includes the 108,000 people who have received the jab. Coming to the main point of this episode, which is the vaccination. I'm not going to sit here and preach to anybody to take the vaccine, nor am I going to sit here and talk about alternate theories or conspiracy theories or whatever you want to call it. But I just want to point out a couple of things that have been running in my mind, and I hopefully would like to initiate a discussion and a further conversation regarding this. Now, the first point that comes to my mind is, can we completely, blindly trust science? Now, this is not going to be a debate about science versus religion or science versus faith. This is just a simple, blatant question. Can we trust science? Now, science is based on formulas and empirical evidence, and it is, of course, fact-based. But yet, when it comes to the pharmaceutical industry or the big pharma, there is a huge amount of mistrust from the public towards these companies. There are, of course, other fields as well where there are certain things that have been proved, but a lot of unknown variables still remain. So when it comes to facts on outer space or things which we cannot see, we are very much okay to believe them blindly and completely. But when it comes to popping in a pill or taking in a syringe, we are kind of distrustful about the whole thing. Personally as well, I advocate scientific thinking, and I am super proud of all the advancements that humanity has made in the past centuries in science and technology and what you may. So I'm not negating any of that, but I'm just pointing out the kind of mistrust and the distrust that we still have towards these, especially when it comes to, as I said in this case, the pharmaceutical industry. Now, if we say that we do trust science and it is probably the best way to go forward, then we are living in a dangerous situation because of the mistrust that we have. As you may know, a couple of people who first had the vaccinations had allergic reactions to it. Now, this kind of adverse effect is not new to this vaccination itself. This has been seen on very common diseases so far, which includes high blood pressure or diabetes or anything else. And it's even more surprising for me personally that there has still not been a cure for cancer as well. Now, add to this the lack of responsibility which the company, which is the Pfizer UK and the BioNTech group, that they are not willing to take any responsibility for any potential adverse effects. They have demanded indemnity against any potential future lawsuits. So if the company which manufactures the product itself is not ready to stand behind it 100%, how are we as public expected to stand behind it and to accept it? The second thing that comes to mind is the question of authority. Now, we as a human race, how much authority are we willing to accept? You also start thinking if this is authority which is stemming up from a very positive perception of power? Or is this a very toxic and controlling kind of authority which is disguised as public safety and precaution? If the company itself is not standing behind this product, then can the government make this mandatory and compulsory? Is it fair to impose this kind of compulsion on the general public? From our point of view, what would be our yardstick to trust this and accept this completely? Will the government compromise on individual sovereignty for the sake of public health? Or is there an ulterior agenda that is disguised as concern for public health? And lastly, where do we as a human race start looking for solutions when we are in times of crises, in times of global crises like this one? So on one hand, we have science and all the advancements, but there is not 100% trust towards it. On the other hand, is it feasible for us to start going back to an organic way of living? Is it practical? Is it feasible? Is it reasonable? Now, I would like to know from you all what you think. Is it possible for the human race, for the entire human race, to agree on one single solution which would work for everyone? I mean, of course, each individual has their own reasoning, own thought process, and own preferences. But when it comes to times like these, when we are all in the same kind of global crisis situation, where do we start looking for answers? Where do we start pinning our hopes? Where do we start trusting? These were my 2 cents of thought for whatever they may be worth it. Now, as I said, I'm not advocating any one which way of being or doing or believing. This was just me laying bare my thoughts, and I would absolutely love to hear from all of you what your opinions are, what your thoughts are, and hopefully we can have a much further discussion regarding all of this. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Let me also know how you're getting along in these challenging and weird times, and hopefully we'll all be able to pull through together very soon. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Until next time, take care.